Hi, I'm Nora Shiki Muhammad Noor. I'm a banking and transformation leader for over 23 years of experience across Islamic banking, digital finance, enterprise transformation, and regulatory driven innovation. I currently straddle two worlds. Professionally, I work in a senior leadership and enterprise architecture roles within banking. And at the same time, I'm also an entrepreneur, having founded Elhan's Groom and Glam, a service-based business that I built from scratch while navigating career transitions. I'm also a recent MBA graduate from Unirazak and currently progressing towards a doctorate in business administration, where my research focuses on leadership, regulation, and transformation in Islamic digital banking. Today, I'd like to share some reflections on the real business challenges and opportunities leaders and entrepreneurs face today, drawing from both my corporate and entrepreneurial experiences. So, the reality of leadership today. One of the biggest misconceptions about leadership today is that challenges are primarily technical or strategic. In reality, the hardest challenges are human, structural, and systemic. So, challenge number one, uncertainty as the new normal. So, leaders today are no longer operating in stable environments. We can see that, all right? Regulatory shift, digital disruption, geopolitical pressure, and market movement, which is so frequent, right, means that decisions are often made with incomplete information. So, in my experience, especially in regulated industries like banking, leaders must become comfortable making high stakes decisions while outcomes remain uncertain. Okay, that's challenge number one. So, challenge number two is misalignment between strategy and execution. So many organizations have strong strategies on paper. It looks nice and perfect, right, when it's on paper? But execution fails because operating models, talent capabilities, and systems are not aligned. What we see on paper is not necessarily what we can implement in real life. So I've seen transformation struggles not because of a lack of vision, but because organizations underestimate the effort required to translate strategy into processes, systems, and behaviors. That's number two. Challenge number three, which is very real, people, trust, and governance. So another major challenge is trust. Okay, trust between leaders, teams, regulators, and stakeholders. So in both corporate leadership and also entrepreneurship, I've learned that governance structures and clarity of accountability are very critical. Without them, even well-intentioned leaders can face failure. So that's on challenges. So now, let's talk about opportunities for leaders and entrepreneurs. So despite these challenges, this is also one of the most exciting periods to be a leader or entrepreneur. Why? Opportunity number one, digital as an enabler, not a goal. Okay, why do I say this? Is because digital transformation should not be pursued for its own sake. So the real opportunity lies in using digital capabilities to solve real business and societal problems, whether it's financial inclusion, operational efficiency, or customer trust. Okay, so digital is definitely an enabler, but it's not the main intention. So opportunity number two, purpose-driven and value-based leadership. So in banking, we always use this. So in Islamic finance and increasingly across industries, there is a strong shift towards value-based and purpose-driven leadership. We talk about ESG, sustainability, and ethical governance. So leaders who can authentically align profit with purpose will have a long-term advantage. Okay, so opportunity number 3, hybrid leadership models. Why I'm saying this is very crucial. We are seeing more professionals operating in hybrid modes. Corporate leaders who are also advisors, they are also entrepreneurs or portfolio professionals. So someone like me, for example. So we are the type of leaders who are more resilient, commercially grounded, and adaptable. Because talking from experience, for someone who's working in corporate and at the same time own my own business, it teach me to be more resilient, more independent, 360 degrees. We can understand how business works because we are running the business. We can understand why certain decisions are being made that way because I myself go through the experience. So having both these hybrid leadership models, I'm not putting myself as just an employee. I put myself in a position where as an owner, because I know how it feels like to run a business. Okay, so it helps a lot. So on my personal reflections, okay, lesson from my own journey. Okay, it's important for postgraduate students especially. Lesson number 1, career paths are no longer linear. So what does this mean is, okay, for example, my own journey has not been linear. Linear means like it's all straight line, right? So I've built teams, I've built products, and right now I'm also building my own institutions. And I've also experienced projects that didn't proceed due to regulatory shift or strategic direction by the, whoever in the banking industry, for example. So these experiences taught me that short tenures or changes do not necessarily reflect failure. It doesn't mean that way, all right? But rather the nature of modern organization and transformation work. So sometimes things happen because it is how things work. It's not necessarily when something that is, failing or it's short stint, it doesn't mean failure. It's just that things are volatile. Perspective move, things change. So it's something that you have to accept and you move along the way. All right? So my personal reflection number 2. This is important also. Entrepreneurship is not necessarily glamorous, guys. Okay? So running my own business has been humbling. Very humbling, I would say. Progress is slow, margins are tight, and emotional resilience is essential. Okay? Entrepreneurship teaches you discipline, cash flow management, and the reality of execution in ways no textbook can teach you unless if you venture into it. It's a different mindset as you are. It's not the same mindset like you are employed as an employee. When you're an entrepreneur, you change, you wear different hat. Like if you're just an employee, you come work day in day out knowing that there's certainty and stability because at the end of the month you get your salary. But entrepreneurship is not like that. All right, there are days that you feel like you don't know whether this is the right thing to do. There are days that you feel like you are not motivated. There are days that you feel like, how do you even want to get sufficient money to pay your staffs and get things running? So it's definitely not glamorous, and it's definitely requires strong mental and emotional resilience for sure. All right, my lesson number 3 is identity beyond titles. So one of the hardest lessons for leaders is learning not to anchor their identity solely to titles or roles. So sustainable leadership comes from understanding your core strengths. So in my case, I like to build, structure and transform regardless of context. So you need to know what is your strength. All right. So my advice to my fellow friends, postgraduate students, all right, if I were to offer a few pieces of advice to you all right, number one is build systems thinking. So what does this mean is you must understand how strategy, people, process, technology and regulation interact. If you know this 360 degrees, it helps you a lot. Don't just think something in silo. You look at the overall perspective of things before you execute anything. All right. Number two, develop emotional resilience. Okay. Leadership involves ambiguity and setbacks in life, especially there's a lot of ups and downs. I'm sure you all are very familiar about it, but you know, when you are having both, you know, you're working and you own your own business, you need to have that emotional resilience. Don't easily give up. Okay. And number three, don't rush clarity. Never rush it. All right. Careers, business, and we as a person, we take time to evolve. All right. There are reasons why, you know, like things really takes time, because if you are 40 or if you're 30 or if you're 20, don't hurry up and, you know, rush to know that who you will be or whether or not you will be successful. Don't compare your timeline, all right? Because each and every one of us have different journey and we are all not on the same timeline. Focus on you, all right? So most importantly is anchor yourself in values. It become your compass when circumstances change. Always have your values in you. So an MBA or DBA is not just about advancement. It's about developing judgment, perspective, and leadership maturity. Okay. So for my closing, all right, leadership and entrepreneurship today are less about having all the answers and more about asking the right questions, building the right structures, and staying grounded through change. I hope my reflections offer some practical insights and reassurance to those navigating complex professional journeys. Thank you, Prof. Roland, and the academic team for the invitation, and thank you to the students for taking some time to engage with this session. Thank you.